Okay, this video is going to be about personal labels. In recent years, many have become annoyed with all the labels that are circulating nowadays, especially in the area of one's sexuality or personal political or philosophical views. Labels can sometimes be annoying, but labels can also be a good thing. Personal labels, when properly used, are usually used to communicate things about ourselves to others. So I've personally never minded labels, just as long as they define me accurately. I have many wonderful labels that I'm actually proud of. For instance, I'm a male, I'm a human, I'm an earthling, I'm a brother, I'm an uncle, I'm a pantheist, a moderate Democrat or a centrist. I'm an artist, a writer, a philosopher. In the past, I've been a student, a graduate, and a teacher. So all these labels have helped to define me and express my views and my identity to others. But I understand the concerns and the fears that many have with personal labels and how they can be problematic, especially when they are used in a derogatory way to insult others. And they can complicate our language and our dialogue with one another, so it can sometimes get a little stressful. But we can't avoid personal labels altogether or completely. In terms of classifying our sexuality, we used to simply categorize ourselves as either straight, gay, or bi, and it was real simple and people liked it. But in recent decades, the language has become a lot more complicated and a lot more labels and a little more specific, which has annoyed a lot of people. There's a lot of these new ones like asexual, or relatively new to a lot of people, even though technically they've been around. So there's asexual when someone doesn't have any strong sexual desires or attractions towards others of either sex. And then there is demisexual, which means someone has to have a strong connection with someone before they can feel attracted, sexually attracted to someone. So they have to have that bond. And then there's trisexuals, so those who will try, to have sex with anything, animals, food, the ground, you name it, whatever feels good. And then someone came along and created the term LGBT to help consolidate and group a lot of the sexual preferences, which most of us know is the acronym that stands for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender. And so a lot of these terms or additional terms are starting to annoy people. But I would say think of it like a tree of labels. We had the three main branches, you're straight, you're bi, or you're gay. But then there are more specific labels that branch off of those main branches to get more specific. And some people just prefer to communicate that more specific attribute about themselves, and they want to communicate that to people, and which is okay with me. Although I do think we do probably need to try not to make it overly complicated. We need to try to balance that out a little bit as much as possible, whenever possible. And in case you're wondering, I'm straight. That's not to say that I can't look at another guy and say, yeah, he's got it going on. I can appreciate the attractiveness in other beings, in all beings, even animals. I've seen some pretty good-looking deer, in my time. But that's also not to say that I have this desire or strong need to be sexually intimate with another guy, no matter how good-looking he is. I don't have that need to poke him. I may want to give him a firm handshake or even a hug, But that's where it ends with me. But you know, I can respect that, you know, others might need to take it a little further. So these labels kind of help to differentiate, you know, those preferences and communicate that, you know, among ourselves. So labels can be a good thing. Some erroneously believe that if they try to avoid labels, that they do not apply to them. For example, when it comes to political labels, many may not want to have a particular political label attached to them, such as liberal or conservative, or progressive, or Democrat, or Republican, or socialist, or capitalist. But that doesn't change the fact that each and every person does fall somewhere on the political spectrum, whether they like it or not. And so other people may give you that label, whether you like it or not. So I would recommend the next time someone calls you something, just try to determine whether or not that accurately defines you. And if it doesn't, just politely correct them or proudly own it. And that's the real deal.